Hey guys, it's your girl Eve. Just letting you know that there's some audio stuff at the beginning with Nate's headphones, but they clear up, so don't get discouraged. If you are annoyed, just skip ahead. It's a really good episode. I know it's long, but if you love us, you'll listen. And if you don't listen, then a fairy will die. Thanks for listening. Enjoy.
You look like you're DJing a roller skating rink.
I would totally DJ a roller skating rink.
Yes, I know.
Up next, couples skate. Who's playing sock tag? Sock tag.
He's got the voice for it. Now is as good a time as any to start this podcast. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Everyone's Doing Better Than Me. It's the podcast where my co-host Eve and I bring on our more successful friends to let them know how their success is making me go to therapy. I am one of your co-hosts, Catherine Henson, along with my other co-host.
Wow! I don't know. What an enthusiasm! Shut up. This other bitch, Eve Ellen Bogan.
What's her name? We have I'm really excited for this guest. I'm not going to lie. I feel like between the three of us, it's going to be weird today, and I am here for it. Today on the pod, we have Nathan Hurd. He's a comedian. He's an actor. I'm pretty sure he's an internet celebrity now. I don't know. It's been a while since
I was looking at his TikTok. I was looking at the TikTok. I'd say yes.
Yeah, you'd say yes. But Nathan, feel free to say hi. Say hello real quick. We're gonna delve in. Yeah, we're gonna delve into your general vibe. Actually, I think that's another thing. He is a vibe. He is something that you're like. That's a mood. That's a 100% mood. But before we get to Nathan, I want to ask you real quick. Eve, this week, who hurt you?
Well, Catherine, usually we always do stupid, flippant things, like somebody for you. Yeah, exactly. One time, a dog barked at you and you cried a lot and we had to talk about it during our phone call, which I used to call counseling. But this week, actually, something bad happened today. I found out that somebody who I really liked, somebody I kind of adored. This guy worked for, he owned a cafe that I used to work at in college. I found out today that he died, and that is not funny.
Why do I begin to smile? I don't know what the problem is. It's like I can't.
It's like comfort.
Would you say? Yeah, it's true. I was like, what the fuck? I was just on Facebook. I never go on Facebook. I went on Facebook because I'd left a comment on somebody posted in an all-female entrepreneur business group the other day, which I have no business belonging to. Because I am a woman and I have a podcast, but I don't make any money. I'm not a strong, this is what you say to a client. I'm like, that person sounds like a cunt, that's my advice.
You have one window that doesn't even fit your head through it. You know what I mean? You don't have a sea of windows you can stare out onto the city that you run.
Yeah, exactly. No, I look out of my window. I see the apartment across from me and I look at him, but he doesn't look at me. That makes me feel lonely.
Yeah, he does. Anyway, not when you're looking at him.
I hope he does.
Actually, it's him.
Yeah.
Nathan's your neighbor.
It's me. Sorry about the binoculars. I got bad vision. That's my bad.
Dude, I want attention. That's what I want. But so I had left this comment on this women's forum. Somebody asked for some advice and I was like, well, I have a little bit of experience, nothing, I don't have any experience. And I had gotten quite a few likes, what can I say? I got a couple of likes.
Never get you through the night,
And I was like, I wonder how my post is doing. That's why I went on Facebook. And then I think they deleted the post. And then I saw that this guy, his name was Jeff, he passed away over the weekend. And I didn't know he was sick or anything like that. And it's not really about me. But it did hurt me. It legit hurt me.
It's not about me, but I am in pain. Okay, is that true?
Yeah. It feels kind of selfish to be bummed out because it's he ran this restaurant, this cafe for probably almost 20 years. He was this kind of like, to me, like a crotchety but very like lovable older Jewish man who I think was born at 45. Like, I don't think he was ever younger than 45. And he was a terrible business owner, despite all of the
he's dead, despite all, Eve. What?
I know. No, but he knew he
You're
was
not building this dude up in my head right now. Like,
I want to be Jeff.
He was born at 45. He was crotchety. He was a terrible business owner. I miss him so much. Like, I don't.
No, okay, fine. It was like he let, like, it was like we were all like in our early to mid 20s working there, and we just like ate there like it was our kitchen, you know. And he was like, "You're supposed to put it, you know, write it down, put it in the jar." And I'm like, sure, Jeff. I mean, I owed them
friends. Okay.
I owed so much money. I never paid. Like, it was kind of, he's one of those people where it was like.
Or you said that you never paid him back. Like, that's.
I mean, I'm sure that I'm the. No, I was saying, I'm sure
she's going to journal about that. She's going to.
I am. I'm going to. I owe him a karmic debt. You know what I mean? I'm like, Jeff, if you can hear me, I'm going to put that $35 under my pillow tonight. You know. But, you know, but he was just a special person, basically. He was just like an interesting guy. I remember one time I'd had a breast reduction. This one time I just got a breast reduction.
I did not know that about you. I did not.
You didn't know that?
No.
Well, I know, and I know what you're thinking. I know what she's going to say. She's going to be like, and your boobs are still huge. And they are. What were you going to say, Nathan?
Yeah. Have you had more than one?
No, I've only had one breast reduction when I was 19. So I was working there.
This one time I had.
Yeah, I know. So I was going to say this one time this thing happened. So I was prefacing it with I had a breast reduction, right? So like I really hated. I was like 21. I was so relieved that my boobs were smaller because I was so like insecure about all these guys just staring at my tits all the time. And I'm like, whew, I can wear whatever I want. You know, my tits were not that much. They weren't small. They were smaller. So I'm wearing this shirt and
sorry.
They're totally back. And fuck you. And I'm behind the counter at the bar, right, of the cafe. And these drunk guys come in, and one of them is like, "Oh my God, your tits are massive." Something like so. I just instantly, I was 21. I just burst into tears. I just started crying. And I ran to the bathroom, and Jeff is like, "What just fucking happened?" And I was like, "This guy said this thing." And I don't know if I kind of told that to like any guy, I feel like they'd be like, "All right, come on, it's not that big of a." Jeff was like 6 something. He was like a tall dude. He just went over and he was like, "Get out." And I think he like physically removed the guy. And I'm like, that was like 2005. So what I'm saying is, okay, crotchety in some ways, not a great business person, very much not a rapist, not a sexual harasser.
Nice.
Yeah, like before it was cool, he wasn't a rapist. You know what I mean? Like even before, like back when people just did it and it was still fine. He was like,
bingo. He's got a bingo. He's got a blackout on the card.
He was like,
I know we don't know each other that well, but you got to have a higher standard of people. Like, good.
He was okay. So he was just like a really good dude. He's a really good dude. He gave me a job. I was not the person that you'd want working for you. I was late. I ate all the food. You already did say
you stole. Yeah, you stole.
I totally stole, but everybody stole. We all drank for free. You know what I mean? Like we were like and we were all kind of like lost. It was like the Lost Kids Cafe. You know, it was like all these like kind of emotionally overactive 20-something-year-olds who were like, I cannot believe that whatever the thing was. We were never none of us were going to go into business. Let's just say that. Like none of us went into finance. Like most people had like a band or like wrote poetry or now do stand up. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I found out today, and then I was like sending this very sincere voice note to my friend who was like she was still close to him. And then I was like, all right, babe, I love you. I got to go. And then, I was like, oh, it's crazy, life and death and this and that. And then I walked away from her and met a woman on the corner who sold me my ring light so that when we do this podcast, I'll look better. So, priorities, I was like, my grief, but like, I got to look good on the pod.
It'll look good. It'll look good through all the tears. So you went and bought a ring light like a drug deal after finding out your friend died. Nice. I think it's on brand.
Yeah. But just for the record, I cried. Okay. And I look okay. So the ring lights was important today,
working.
I think.
It's working. Yeah. You consider it Jeff's light shining down on you.
That's so bad. That's good. But it's bad.
Yeah, it's a positive. It's a positive.
But from now on, I'm always going to think of my ring light as like Jeff's light. Do you know what I mean? Like I've just, and I can't, the hard part is I can't call up his widow, who I really like love, and tell her, oh, this funny thing happened on the podcast, and now I call it Jeff's light because nobody, you know what I mean? Nobody else would be like,
podcast. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's me with my funny, uplifting story, my lighthearted, frivolous, whatever. Now, Catherine, who hurt you?
This week, the podcast hurt me. This very podcast that we are recording on right now. I make clips, and by make clips, I mean I attempt, as the senior citizen that I am, to use my phone in a way that will mash what this is together and subtitle it to look like something a teenager can do on the internet within 10 minutes. And I totaled it up. I spent around 9.3 hours in the last 24 trying to make a 30-second Instagram reel. Okay. Yeah. And I had to begin doing Wim Hof breathing during the process, like, because I couldn't stop to breathe because like it needed to get to, so I'm like breathing during, and then I had, I took a week off from doing it because it gave me anxiety. It's actually like the rage I feel when I finish a clip and then it won't like upload correctly to the internet. And like, Nathan, I'm going to get to you in a second about this because I see that you know how to use the internet. And like, I can't do it anymore. I cannot do it anymore. And I was texting Eve being like, I can't do it anymore the way it is. And she was like, you just need to schedule it in, and just give yourself some time, so you're not as stressed. And it's more like, I can never make a clip again. I can't do it. Or I can make one, but my boundary is there. And I didn't feel heard. And we were going to have a meeting about it. Right. Cause I'm like, okay. So like I was meditating and I was like, Eve, we're going to have this meeting and then she'll hear me. And then she's like, my friend died. And like, now I don't get heard about the clips. That's what, like,
that must be so hard for you. I mean, this is the thing that's like so crazy. It's like we all have our own variety of insanity. We all do things that our friends are like, that's just her, and I'm not going to get involved. For me, it was like for years, anytime I got into like any kind of conflict, I would change countries. And my friends knew that like, I've lived in a bunch of countries because I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm leaving New York and going to Australia. I'm leaving. I moved to Korea. I moved back from Korea to New York. I was in Ireland. Like, so it was just like that. My friends were like, oh, okay, we're not going to say anything. This is her behavior. This is who she is. And then at some point, my friends were like, maybe you should just have a discussion with the person.
How rich are your friends?
I'm not.
Well, no. I'm just wondering because, like, look, if something happened to you and me, if one of my friends said, "Hey, man, I know I've been living out here for a while, but some shit happened. I'm moving to Australia." I'd be like, "Yo, what the fuck you do, bro? That sounds like you like you didn't call me to help you bury the bodies. Like you didn't even call me." Body?
I am the person who turns up to a country without any money. Like literally, I've arrived in countries and been like, I can get out of the airport, but then I need like a transfer to go through. So it's like some people, but nobody would confront me about this until it was like time, right? That's how it is with Catherine and these clips. No, because it's like.
No. This is what I have to, because I was screaming about it on stage tonight. This is how bad it got, right? Like I went to do a show and I was like, I'm not doing any material. I'm going to scream about this because it's like, I'm a senior citizen. I don't know how to use the phone. I'm trying to make something for a format I don't even understand how to use. And then I was like thinking about it and I was like the rage, I was shaking. I felt like I had tremors permanently. Like I felt like my heart was going to beat out of my chest. And I was like, I used to smoke meth. death. All right. I used to manage a sex dungeon with a lot of dominant female energy. And when I was 15, I ran away to Chico, California for 10 days. And when they found me, they put me in the wilderness for 6 weeks. And after that, they put me in a therapeutic boarding school, which is just institutionalized abuse of children. And I survived all of that. But the thing that's going to fucking take me out is trying to make an Instagram reel. I can't fucking do it. I can't handle it. I can't wrap my head around it. Every time I see a child holding a phone like they know how to use it, it's starting to cause me anxiety. So, and then your friend Nathan died, and I was like, I can't have my trauma anymore, can I?
Oh, right. Because you know what? The hard thing about our relationship is you never get to have your trauma time. That's the dynamic of our relationship, is that it's always just me. Nathan, you make a lot of clips and all this stuff online. Like, I've seen your TikTok. I've seen your Instagram. You have like a ton of followers on both. Tell Catherine that she's being a little bitch. Can you just tell her that she's... I can tell that Catherine's like, she's not happy with me because she didn't laugh just now. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like you've definitely hit that age where it's like, but what was wrong with flip phones though? You know what I mean? Like you
did you just call me old, but I'll take it. I'll take it. I was like, did you just call me old, but I'll take it if I get
No, not at all. I just said you've hit that age. You see how I grew up with women. I know how to talk.
And wait, how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 42.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Wow, he's older than you. He's older than you. He's got 1.5 million fans on TikTok.
Okay, before we get into that, because I feel like we can ask him this question, like after I roast him for the fact that he can actually use the fucking internet. I'm so pissed off at how many links you know how to use. It's so upsetting to me. But I'll get there.
I'm also legally blind, so
I know, motherfucker.
Yeah, he's just shaming you.
Look at him; he's like relishing in it. He's like, "Yes, that's right. I'm blind."
Wait, but can I add a little to the roast though of you, Catherine, with the phone stuff, or are you like about to go over the edge and like quit the podcast if I say one more thing?
You can say one more thing.
Okay, I'm like, okay,
but I might refute it.
There are plenty of things that we all like, we hate doing. I hate doing so many things. And that like, I mean, like I said, like I've left countries. I probably didn't go to the college I should have gone to because, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. But it's like, so, okay, we have that. So if you're going to do something that you have to do that you hate doing, you just try to like set a good tone, you know, you try to like do it in a good, you know, to make it as easy as possible. Like, all right, I'm going to give myself all these small wins and then I'm going to set myself up to succeed. Catherine is like, I have to do these clips. I fucking hate them. I'm not going to do them in advance when I can talk to, you know, she could talk to me and I might be able to help or whatever. Then she's like, I'm going to do it literally the night we've agreed to put it out. And I'm going to wait until midnight or 1 a.m. my time to start. So it's like last night we were messaging. Catherine's alone at night in the dark working on this clip. And I'm like, and I was like, she's like, maybe I'll do 3. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know about this. Like, I can just see what's coming. And I'm like, I just, my feeling is it's like with anything, I'm just like, just a small win, you know, just do it like a day before, you know, so that there's no pressure.
I feel like Nathan has officially become our therapist, our couples therapist. Like he's leaning in such a way where normally that would be how we'd be leaning, but he's like, okay, he's like, but when are you gonna make out? Like that's what it's like. When are you? No.
Wow, Catherine's been to some fucking bad therapists. Catherine thinks therapy is like, so why don't you guys just get it on?
I think it leads.
So yeah, what I'm hearing is that you need to get naked. Is what I'm hearing actually.
Actually, yeah, I am sweating a lot.
I'm not personally like I think that because here's the thing with me, like I work best under like if I procrastinate, I got ADHD. So if I wait till if you tell me that I got to write a 10-page paper in 6 months, I will still wait till the night before to wait, and then I'll knock it out. And get a B.
But you'll do it.
But was that sometimes? Sometimes I don't. Yeah. Sometimes I do. Yeah. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I stress, and then I'm just like, well, fuck it. Then I'm just not gonna do. You know, I'm not gonna do nothing. But like the planning part does not work for like it. It has to be very specifically and very very specifically done. Otherwise, it's not really. It doesn't really work for me.
That's how I feel
all the time.
For me.
So, and like, but I'm also fucked up in the head. Hold up. My headphones just broke.
Oh, they broke.
I'm just laughing because Mercury's in retrograde. I'm back. Are you in? I like that you said that you said that you're fucked up in the head, like as if you think you're sitting with two like very normal individuals. Like you might be the most unique one out of the three of us right now. That's for sure. But
that's for sure.
You're dealing with two very specifically fucked up individuals. But I kind of feel the way
I was in Edinburgh.
yeah. But yeah, I can't, like, it gives me anxiety planning, and maybe I have ADHD, and maybe that's, something I should look into, but, cause I feel like what you just said is sort of how I feel about it. Like it kind of, the idea of planning kind of makes me feel stressed out. Like I have a second thing to do, like another step or something. And for me with the clips, it's not even making them or subtitling them or whatever. It's that once I'm done, when I go to upload it, something's wrong with either the format or the sound or whatever. And I don't know what it is. And then that takes me an extra several hours to fix. And this is really boring, but then I don't know how to fix it because I'm not good at tech and I'm not good at social media because I don't understand what thing needs what and whatever. And then it's like having to wrap my head around something I don't like and don't understand to do a thing that I felt like I already
It sounds like what you need to do is simplify the process. If you're trying to do clips each day, what I would do personally, is like, what are you trying to take clips from? You record the podcast and then you try and chop up the podcast into clips?
This right here. Yeah. I try to, like your face will be on our Instagram as a guest on our podcast. Yeah.
What I would recommend, do you do it on your phone or do you do it on your computer?
My phone, I can barely use my computer.
All right. Well, then what I would suggest is usually a podcast probably like an hour and a half or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So she's making it's like a 10 or 15 second clip. Or 30 second clip.
So when you first of all, you got to find an app like at the App Store. I can send you a couple that I use. So basically, where you can you can put your whole thing into that app, or you can either your phone should have an area where you can cut half of it. So if you know that the part of the clip that you want to use was in the front half of the episode, then you can just cut it and then put it into the app to make it a smaller file.
Yeah. Because I do. Yeah.
I was thinking last night, and I can cut this part out of the episode if it gets too technical, but maybe people were interested. But Catherine uses Video Leap to make the clips for Instagram. And then what basically is happening is that the sound and the audio and the video are getting out of sync so that and that's just driving her insane. Them. Yeah. Once she puts it into, but I realized I was thinking about this because I've been putting some clips on there that I've edited in, what's the other one? Not Instagram. It's the other one. It's like, InShot. And none of my clips have gotten out of sync. So I was thinking maybe we can run them through InShot after.
InShot is fantastic. InShot is what I use a lot of the time. It's one of the ones that I use the most.
So I was thinking that I bet it's an app thing. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Well, no, you good. It might be.
I'll take all of your suggestions at this point. I think it's it was so hard for me to learn how to use, it's like that. It's just, it's not my first language. It's not even my second. So it's it was a challenge for me to even learn how to use Video Leap. And then, so it's just it gets frustrating, but I will continue. It's not like I'm going to stop. It just needs to change the process. Like you said, it needs to change. Whatever it is, isn't working. It's causing me. I know this sounds extreme, but in the darkest, hardest part of this today, when I spent 3 more hours on it, I was like, maybe I should kill myself. I was back there again. Oh my God. And I know that's insane. Yeah. I was like, because if I can't make the clip, then Eve can't put it on TikTok, and I can't put it on Instagram, and 4 people can't see it, and if 4 people can't see it, how will it get out there? And what's the point of even trying? And you know what?
But
die. That's what I should do, is die.
But I could feel that. I could feel that last night when you're messaging me about it. And I'm like, this isn't going to work because that's the energy behind this.
But when I started, I was happy though, just so you know. When I started.
Right, but then I know. But then it's it gets later and then you hit a stumbling block and then it's the middle of the night and there's this pressure of I needs to go out tonight. And if it doesn't, I'm letting Eve down. Yeah. And it's like, I'm actually going to go to a doctor to see if I have ADHD. I would say that if I do have it, it's pretty mild.
I probably have it too then. So
yeah. And I think it's exacerbated because everybody I fucking know has it. I think it's exacerbated by the time we're living in. I think that technology probably, if you're predisposed to it, I think probably, I'm just like shooting, it's like a shot in the dark. I don't fucking know, but like so many people have it that I'm just like, this probably has a lot to do with the way we live, but it's still a real thing. So it's not like I'm like, fuck anybody who procrastinates, because it's like my whole life is procrastination. I'm 37. I'm broke. I live with roommates, and I'm like in New York City, not gigging every day like I used to when I lived in Australia. That's where I was before COVID. Nathan, I was living in Australia. You said that, what'd you say?
I said, that's what's up.
Yeah, I think so. That sucks. But I guess I'm just saying, yeah, that sucks, man. I'm like, yeah, sometimes. But I guess my point is just, it's like, if this is like how we are, like, I think Nathan's right. Like, you just have to find the simplest way that doesn't hit all of the fucking anxiety, because you might have ADHD, Catherine, but then you also have anxiety, which
I'm playing with dimes and a pen right now, like while we do this. So, no, I think you're right. And I have to just say, this moment with you and Nathan has, calmed me down. However, will I continue trying to potentially turn my anxiety around making Instagram clips into a bit? Absolutely. So
you should. And Nathan, I'm sorry that you just had to be here for like the most boring part we've ever done on this podcast.
I have so much anxiety that he's like, why did I do this? So when I begin to ask him,
you gotta understand, I was a psych major. My mom's a therapist. My aunt and uncle are both PhD psychiatrists. You're fine. You're fine.
Well, I will say that what you just said to Catherine, I could see had like a real impact. So I appreciate
just to make you make that clear. I dropped the fuck out 2 times, but I just wanted, I'm just saying, I just know how people are. I think that the problem is that my generation got very, very lucky. I'm 42, so I was born in 78. So the generation that was born like 1975, between like 1975 and 86, got really lucky, because our thing that we got good at was transition. Nothing was certain, because between the years of 1985 and 1986 and 2006, we went from the original Nintendo to the PlayStation 3. So there was just this huge jump. We went from nobody even ever seeing a cell phone to every single person having one. From nobody using the internet to everyone using the internet in that 20-year span. And that's when I grew up. So I got used to transition. So I can talk to a 60-year-old and understand what they're talking about. I can also talk to a 15-year-old. And while they might understand a little better, I can pick it up really easily. So because we built tree houses, and then it went inside and built computers. So I think that a lot of people, when they're talking about technology, and because to certain people it looks like second nature, but then to other people it looks completely foreign. But at the same time, that's exactly how comedy looks like to people who don't do comedy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they think that it just comes off the top of the head. How many people have come up to you? How do you come up with your material? And you don't even know how to answer because it's so simple for you.
Yeah.
I used to think comedians made it up at the gig. When I was younger, I was like, wow, they just come up with it off they're just so funny.
What's funny about you saying that you didn't that you dropped out of college twice is like, I feel like that was like you teaching a college class. Like, I don't even know what, but I was like riveted. I was like, should I be taking notes? Like, I don't know
what the hell I'm talking about 90% of the time.
Well, on that note, I do want to ask you, and it's been a long time coming at this point, and as long as it's not us and this podcast, because you can't steal mine, Nathan, this week, who hurt you?
You know who hurt me, really? Like, who really hurt me? Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, man. Jesus really hurt me this week, man. I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, because here's the thing, I'm not religious, but I don't really have a problem with anybody being religious or anything. I think that sometimes people are douchebags, not institutions. You can't blame it. You can't blame something that doesn't have a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't stop blaming Google. Google don't have a penis. The motherfuckers at Google got shit, but Google ain't got nothing. You mad at Google? It's not a person, fam. You know what I mean? Like, it's like being mad at Daffy Duck. What the hell he gonna do? He's animated. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have no problem with any type of religion. But I was thinking today that like Jesus, I think that most Christians can kind of be like, yo, Jesus wasn't white, like he wasn't fair skinned. Because of just the geography, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like we're not saying that he didn't exist. He definitely he existed. He maybe the Bible was 100% accurate, but the problem is that in the Bible and in all the pictures, he's white. And so at first I was like, well, damn, man, that's fucked up. Because in still in the pictures and like hanging over people's banisters and shit, and like you go to churches and like all around the world, it's still a white Jesus. And like I was like, damn, man. Well, if they gonna lie about the son of the motherfucker they worship, like if they just be like, nah, we cool. Like if you know and you're unwilling to change that aspect, then what else are you hiding from me? And I was like, damn, man, that's kind of messed up. But then I was like, oh, I think I know why they don't want to change Jesus' complexion.
Why?
It's because he's albino.
You think so?
Jesus was albino. Like, you know what I mean? Of course he was, man. Like you tell him, okay, he's white skinned. Y'all are willing to you got religious people that are saying, you know what? Maybe suck a dick. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like they're like fine with it now. They cool with it. Hey, you know what? Let's abort some babies. We're cool with all of that. But they still won't change the white Jesus. And I think that's because they know deep down they like the motherfucker was albino, but they can't have people worshiping albinos because, you know, they don't want to give us that power. They don't want it to be our time, is what I think it was. So I'm mad at Jesus right now for not showing.
For anybody listening, right? Because we're like the public listening. You're albino, right? Is that right?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, so this is something very close to your heart. Is that if Jesus was albino this whole time?
Maybe they would stop trying to eat me in places like Africa and Bangladesh and shit if motherfuckers just understood that Jesus was an albino. Maybe I wouldn't have to work so hard for pussy. You know what I mean? Like if Jesus was an albino, you know what I'm saying, and they would just come out and say that, it would make my life easier. But they're deliberately not saying this shit, and I feel like it's personal. And so that shit made me mad.
I'm about to see this conspiracy theory on the Today Show. I know it. It's like in 2 weeks. Suddenly you're going to be there screaming about this, and then it's going to all start flooding out, and I'm going to be like, what the fuck just happened? Because okay. I believe him. I mean, I'm with Nathan.
Of course, now. even the word albino would be a different word. It would be called like the skin of Jesus. It'd be like some Spanish.
Yeah, would.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Like let's say everybody around, because everybody around you dark skinned today. You know what I mean? Like it's Jerusalem. Everybody got dark skin and they got dark beards. But then you got this one dude who comes out pale face with hazel eyes, and they shake. My eyes, albino got an nystagmus, and them eyes is shaking, and he pale skin, and then sometimes when he's in the sun too long, he turns a golden red. You know what I mean? Like that would look amazing and godly to people, right? That's what it would look like. So of course, they would be like, "Oh, he's the son of God. He's the son of God right there." You know what I mean? So like, I'm telling you, man.
I hope you have a joke about this.
Oh, I don't. That was just.
Well, you better.
Well,
that's just something he came up with on the spot.
I just thought of it just now. I don't know.
Which, honest to God, leads me. It leads me into this. Like Nathan, I don't know if you realize this, but you've been hurting people too. Okay, you. That's right. This black albino on our podcast, who is legally blind. Okay, I'm going to tell you about this person, Eve. This man has done more today, I think, than I've done in my whole life. I'll just start with that. I met him at the Fringe.
Right.
He was doing this show called Colorblind. His poster, just to throw this out there, I believe was an award-winning poster. Is that correct? You had an award-winning?
I don't think so.
No?
I
thought you had an award. No, your poster won an award.
Did it? I don't think it did.
I think it did. I maybe I'm wrong, but like his poster,
I kind of believe Catherine on this. I think that she would probably.
For some reason, I remember your poster being like, it was a great poster. Like he's like a half and half face. Like, you know what? I mean, that's a really bad description of it. But he's at the Fringe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And he's at the Fringe. And like when I first met Nathan, it was in New York. And you're based in LA predominantly. That's right, Nathan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's an actor and a comedian. So he's been on like American Horror Story and Legion. And he like came to New York, and, you know, New York's not like always the most welcoming scene. And I would notice like, you know, I think it's a hard nut to crack sometimes. And like in any scenario I've ever seen Nathan in, he doesn't give a fuck. Like he comes in, he's nice, he's himself. He's got his phone like 2.5 centimeters from his face. And he's like, I can't fucking see. And he's like, what? Like, you know, and I remember looking at him at the Three Sisters, right? Like in that cave, there's just people, swarms of drunk Scottish people, like screaming around him. And he's just looking at his phone, like, because he's trying to send a text message. He's like, this is who I am. This is who I am. And I'm going to own it. And I'm going to write a show about it. And I'm going to do comedy about it. And like, I let you know, like you don't try to tiptoe around things to make it easier for people to like be like okay with like the fact you're okay with yourself, if that makes sense. And that was something that was just so apparent to me upon meeting him. And then you find out from his show Colorblind that he's a black albino who was adopted into a white family, which you know, right. What? Like, you know, like, I mean, that's not everybody's story, and I can't imagine that's like, you know, that's not your run-of-the-mill easiest thing to probably deal with. I don't know. You know what I mean? You wrote an entire show about like your life like that. You are a gifted storyteller, which I've learned just from the fact I've watched you over the course of the last year completely explode on the internet, doing you. Like you have not bent in any way. Like you are what you are. And you're being celebrated for it, which is fucking awesome, because it's not just like, you know, you could put on a bikini like a hot girl and try to strut around and get a little bit of attention for a second. But like you're like telling stories about how like a homeless man shits on the bus. And I'm actually I watched that. Yeah. And I'm watching the whole thing, because you're the type of storyteller where I'm like, I want to hear the end of this story. I want to hear the commentary. I want to see how you cut up the video, like, because you've got that like comedic timing and that comedic voice that you can't like learn that. You know what I mean? Like that's just something in you. Not to mention like he has a sock collection, which is impressive, that he posts.
A sock collection?
Yeah, no, but like incredible socks. And I clicked on his link tree, and it's like the links are never ending. He has a YouTube, a TikTok, a Twitch, a Cameo, a Venmo, an Amazon wish list. I'm like, the only people I've seen have lists that long are the dominatrixes I used to work with, okay? Because they had those type of clients. But he has fans on all of them. But again,
yes. And a lot of fans, because I was looking at I know your Instagram, you have like 30,000 ish followers. Is that right? Or is it a lot more?
So like 29, 30, I think.
But then TikTok, I just got on TikTok and I'm very happy because I have 1,300 followers now.
Oh yeah.
I had 11. Thank you. I had 11 followers 2 weeks ago. Now I have 1,300, and that makes me happy. You have 1.5 million. Yeah. I was like nobody has, like, I mean, a lot of people have like 100,000, you know, 50, you have a 1.5 million. I was like, what the fuck?
But it's all of him doing him though.
Yes. It's you like, being just you.
Like, it's not like you didn't try to shape yourself to be something like maybe the internet will like this. Like, I don't think you could even fake being something that you're not. And that's a compliment. Like you.
That's not for the lack of trying.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be able to tell. And like the thing is like, and you just own it. And like sometimes I don't know, like if I was like legally blind, would I be able to own that? I don't know. You know what I mean? But like you do it, and you do it in a way that's like funny, and you're a nice person. Do you know what I mean? Like when I ran into you at the Fringe, it wasn't like who, you know what I mean? We were like, wait, we met, you know, and not everybody does that. You know, sometimes I met somebody at the Fringe from New York, a New York comic, for the third time, and she like didn't remember me. And I was like, all right, well, we're in Scotland now. Like, you know, but it's I love seeing unique things be celebrated. As much as I hate that it's not me. But I'm happy to see that it's you. And I'm happy to see that it's happening for you. But also
where's the part of this, Catherine, where you start to shit on him because you're jealous? You just told him how great he is, but you're supposed to be kind of mean, you know? Nathan, you fucking asshole.
Fuck you. You know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna put on. Wait, how would I pretend to be a black albino?
This is I'm Nathan. I was born with the privilege of being albino and like interesting, and now I'm just gonna go and like succeed at everything. My life is so easy. Is that an accurate summation of you, Nathan?
No.
And okay, so why don't you like tell us like what your response is to hearing Catherine say all these things? Because obviously she can't even. Usually Catherine can like be like, "Fuck you, you're so successful and I hate you," but I just can tell that she's got like a fucking boner for you right now.
Well, I guess maybe I should have. I don't know how do I like get a disability? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do I do? Tell me.
Yeah, fucking you. Like, here's the thing.
You're emotional.
First of all, I'm a piece of shit. Like I'm not always good. Like I tried for years to be just like everybody. It's one of the reasons why I'm not good at the business of comedy. When I was in Edinburgh, one of my friends, Matt Jones, who was also over there, he was telling me, he was like, dude, I think that because I don't get booked. Like I've never performed it. I've not at all. I don't have any shows coming up. I don't get booked. I've never performed. I'm not passed at any club in the country. I've never headlined a weekend. I've never been on any of the stages, any of the comedy club stages in New York. Not once.
Wow.
None of them. Not even on a like any of them. People will not put me up. And I'm not good at the business part of it. And when I was in Scotland, Matt was telling me, he was like, dude, I think part of it is because you didn't want to be seen. I always stand out. I didn't want to be seen for a really long time because as an albino, I always stand out. So if I'm like better than somebody, I stand out and it's negative. If I'm worse than somebody, I stand out and it's negative. So I would always try and be just in between, but that didn't work either because I'm still fucking albino. So I'm a piece of shit. I'm a nervous fucking wreck. I had a straight almost meltdown in fucking multiple times. Zane had to take me to the carnival because I was having a legit fucking like panic attack meltdown in Edinburgh. And then TikTok happened, and then TikTok only happened because I was bored. Like I've always liked telling stories, but TikTok happened because I was bored at Christmas, and I just put a video up, and then I just
Christmas. Past Christmas?
Like not the
okay,
Christmas,
2019 to 2020.
2019 to 2020. And I was just bored, and so I put a video up talking about how I'm albino and shit. And then people started following me. I had like 18,000. I had 18 followers, and then the next day I had like 7,000.
Wow.
And then like by the end of that day I had like 35, and then by the end of that day I had like 72. But then it's kind of slowed down, and then over the next year my followers like would go up, and people kept telling me that they were like, oh, you should talk about this thing and you should only talk about this. And I was like, I don't fucking care about the numbers. So as long as it's like with comedy, if there's two people in the crowd, they're getting both barrels. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I just need people to laugh. Like, and so recently my account got banned for community guidelines because community guideline violations. And I just started another account. I was like, well, fuck it. If I'm going to start over, then I'm going to start over. And honestly, I think it's...
Wait a minute.
I got it back. I ended up getting it back. They okay. But they had already kicked me out of the creator fund and all that, which is fine. I'm not mad about that. I don't, it's whatever. And so I just figured out that all of my heroes, the reason that I like them is not because of what they've produced. It's because of who they are. I like Bruce Lee because of the person that he is. I like Steve Martin because of the person that he is. And so like Richard, we don't remember, I want to be remembered in 50 years, not 5. We don't remember Richard Pryor's jokes. We remember Richard Pryor. So if you work, and the homie Jamar's always talking about, if you work on people need to work on the person. And so the happier I became with me, and the more I was allowing myself to be like, I'm the funny person, and I still struggle with it. I'm like, I'm the funny person, not necessarily saying the funny thing. So that way, everything I say is funny. I'm not there yet at all. I still don't think I'm not like, I don't think I don't know I'm funny yet. I still kind of think I am, but like, if you just lean into whoever you are, that's what people are attracted to you.
Yeah.
Like that's what people like fuck with. So when you say that like I just walk around not giving a fuck, it's just because giving a fuck never worked. I tried to do it for so long and it just didn't work. It didn't make me happier. It didn't make people like me anymore. Did get me more sex because I ain't got no goddamn game. But when I just started just being like myself, like closer to myself, that seems it at least made me feel better. But I already saw that in you at motherfucking Edinburgh. Like
it's not the compliment time. It's not the
no, I'm not. This wasn't a compliment. This isn't even a compliment.
Oh, good.
You
dumb bitch, you know.
Yeah, no, I was just like, because I always think that I can learn from somebody, but nobody's fucking all the way anything. So you can always learn something from every situation. And I remember watching you go up at your thing, and it was the only time I watched, like, I saw your show. And I remember, like, it was like hostile as fuck, and people were like bashing and like you were like going back at them, and I was like, oh man, because I had heard that like Zane had just told me that you had won a bunch of awards.
Oh,
and do you win any awards?
I don't think I won award. I got a good review. I got some good reviews.
Somebody's bullshitting the both of you.
Okay, it was that. He had said that you had got like a dope ass review. And no one even came to review me. And I was like, man, the fuck they gonna review this bitch, man? Fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and then I saw you go up, and I was like, fuck, that's why. Shit, I was so heated.
It's funny because I remember you at Edinburgh because you had a rough time, not time, but you had, I guess as a whole, a rough time, but you had a rough time slot. Your room would have been really good earlier.
Where were you?
He was in.
I was in the wee room at the Three Sisters at 1 a.m.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's
my god.
Yeah, that's like a tunnel into hell, you know? And
like, oh my
god. Yeah. And like you
I did a show I did like a set at the Three Sisters at like 11 or midnight, and that was tough. That was like a lineup show.
That's my husband's show that you did that on. Right. Remember? Yeah. You don't remember?
I do. I'm talking to Nathan. It's not all about your husband.
16 times per show, somebody opened the door because they thought it was the bathroom.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Oh, that was so. That's
yeah. There we go.
Did you? Oh, that's so much better. What did you just use?
Yeah, I found some old plug-in headphones.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's so much better. Okay. I'm just looking. I just found your comedy poster. This one.
I think you won an award, dude. But anyway, I remember
I don't remember that.
You were definitely like, you weren't feeling good, but you were still being nice to the people around you. I mean, you definitely saw people lose their minds at Edinburgh.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Like I remember coming back at like 3 a.m. from my show, and I had it was my birthday show.
Oh yeah.
And it was because my birthday. Yeah. No one showed up. Like nobody, like nobody. It was my birthday, and like not one person was there. And I go back to the. I'm staying in a hostel, so I was in a hostel, and I remember going back, and I'm walking through I got like some cheese fries, and I'm walking through the lobby, and I'm just feeling sorry for myself, and I see this dude in a full chicken / clown suit, just bawling his eyes out, sitting in the. Just sitting in a lazy boy chair with a half-eaten burger on his lap, just bawling. And I just remember looking at him and being like, "Yeah, bro." And he was like, "I know, right?" And I just went up to my room, but I was like, "Yeah, all right. Well, fucking at least I'm not alone in this shit." So I was like, "All right."
You were the clown chicken.
Yeah, you were the fries to his burger, really. The cheese fries, if you will.
Yeah.
I one time had that where somebody dumped me in Australia and in Edinburgh. Oh my God, it was you. No, somebody dumped me and he got on the tram and like left and I was just there and it started raining and I was crying and I was like, and he didn't see me cry, but I was like, I do not want to cry in the street. So I like went over to this alleyway behind the school, the university that was there. And I went into the alleyway and I just started crying. And then I looked and it was like a totally empty, pristine, clean alleyway. And in the corner, there was a huge human shit. And I was like, I'm fine.
That's for me. That's for me.
Yeah. You know when it just makes you feel better. You're like, everything's relative, like I'm gonna be okay.
You know what? I read this book called the Book of Joy. It was the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, who's like the biggest religious person in Africa, just met in a cave and had a talk about joy. And there was one point where Desmond Tutu.
This podcast is supposed to be kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, I just loved it because there was Desmond Tutu was talking to Dalai Lama. He was like, yo, so how did you fucking handle when like you had to leave, you got exiled from your country? And the Dalai Lama was like, well, yo, man, it really sucked, man. It sucked a lot. And then I started meeting people who was going through the same thing. And so I didn't feel as bad. And Desmond Tutu was like, you mean perspective? He was like, yes, but what it wasn't, I didn't feel bad because someone else has it worse. It was, I didn't feel bad because there's absolutely somebody else in the world going through the exact same thing. And that knowledge made me not feel alone. And I felt connected to someone, even if I didn't know them. And then I didn't feel as bad. And so that's how I try to look at shit.
Yeah.
Like, man, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, honestly, I've survived 100% of my worst days. So let's just fucking do it again.
Wow, that's a good way to look at it.
I did not always look at it like that, though. I want to make that very clear. I used to punch walls. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask you because I know. Sorry, is it okay, Catherine, if I ask this?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to ask before when you were saying, before, like you were talking about how you worked really hard to kind of make yourself happier, right? Like this is like a while ago, maybe like 10 minutes. What did you do to do that? How did you do that?
Number one thing I did was I stopped fucking with people who weren't doing that. Like negative people. Not just negative people. Like, it's not like I would give up on people, but people who did not make me feel good about myself, I just was like later for them. And I didn't give them the option to stop it. I wasn't like, hey, I think we should stop. I was like, yo, I'm not fucking with you no more. Period.
Right.
That's it. Like it was that. Number one. Number two, and this was something that I did recently. I started talking to myself as if I kind of split and this is, I don't know if this is just something I do. So like I can compartmentalize pretty well. So I started kind of like talking to I don't have any kids, but I started talking to a little version of Nate, like a 6 to 7 year old version of Nate. And if I talked to that version of me the way that I talk to me, I would consider myself a bad father.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I was like, oh, then you're not going to talk to yourself like that no more. Mm-hmm. So now I actively talk to that little version of Nate. And I was like, and because I was like, I was like, oh, Nate, you're a military dad to yourself. You shouldn't have to earn love for your fucking from yourself. Nigga, no. And so I started talking to that little motherfucker like he's my son.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The reason why I'm like listening to this because it's like I've kind of had to do all this, and by had to, it's like I had all this stuff happen that I won't even get into, but I live in London now and it wasn't planned. Let's just put it that way. It kind of was like by way of Australia, accidentally left New York, whatever, you know what I mean? And it was pretty like, it was a lot, and so I ended up having to do all this self-work, right? Because I was going to just kill myself, basically. Yeah. So I say this pretty much every episode, just to kind of catch everybody up.
In case there's new fans,
Yeah, like
hi, my name's Catherine.
I was going to kill myself on Easter this year.
And now look at me.
Yeah. But I mean, feeling that bad kind of brought me to this place where I was like, okay, the only person who can fix this is for me. But then as I've started doing this stuff, like things about who I am and what has shaped me are coming up. And I'm realizing I do the same thing that you just described, not talk to myself in a nice way. I basically realized a week ago, I was like, oh, you give everyone else like the chance, you like, I'll go up to somebody and be like, oh, I really like your earrings. If I do, and I'll look at myself in the mirror, and it's not just about aesthetics, but it's like, I'll be like, oh, I guess that's all right. Or why didn't you do, and I find I've extended this to the people that are closest to me then, right? Like the people that are like with Eve here, or like my husband, I start being hard on them the way I am on myself because, they're the like closest thing to me. And that's the only time I even began to realize it, right? Because I've just been beating myself up my entire life. And it's probably very loosely connected to the idea that even though I knew my dad leaving had nothing to do with me, probably as a little kid, I thought, but if you had been different, he wouldn't have left, And so I've just been beating myself up forever, being like, well, you need to do this better or right, or that wasn't good enough. I mean, every time I get off stage, it wasn't good enough, And I'm now trying to do something like what you said, is like with the moment I say something negative to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, roll that tape back, do this nicer. And, and so it's like you saying that like is really speaking to like where I'm like growing toward right now,
It's a good thing. Like somebody asked me the other day, they were like, what kind of people do you hang out with? And I was saying, I said, I hang out with, I don't look I pick my friends by not how they treat me. It's by how they treat other people. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't because especially people that they don't like or don't agree with. If you can treat somebody that you don't agree with or don't like with, humanity and dignity, then you're probably going to treat me that way. But if you're only going to treat me good because we agree on a point, then you don't really like me. You like that what I do for you, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, do you? But that's not the kind of people that I want to be around, because that will give me too much fucking anxiety because I know me. So I'm just like, you know what? Like, I don't want to have to I don't want to have to act like a person so people will like me, because it's fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think, and not to like make it, I'm not trying to make it like political, but it's like, I feel that way with the whole woke thing, where it's like, I might actually have a lot of the same viewpoints as a lot of people who are like super progressive and whatever. But when I realize that, like, if I say the wrong thing, that I'm going to be like wrong or this or that, and you always have to be like, have this opinion or whatever, it just makes me go like, I'm not interested. I don't need to.
In college, I actually wrote a paper. I was in a speech class with the homie Stephen Garza. He works at the Comedy Store. I was going to see Son the last time I dropped out of college. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we were in this speech class, and we were both comics. And so we had to do this speech. And the part of the speech that I actually had to do was, my part was why hate speech is a good thing. And the teacher was like this, oh, you ought to be like, she was she looked like she tells fortunes on the weekend. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking
about? That's the look I'm aspiring to be honest.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, she walks without like lifting her feet all the way up. She just kind of smooth glides them across and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? And she always looks away and up to the left when you ask her a question. She's like, well, teacher, what are we going to do? Well, you know what we're going to do. Like, I'm like, God damn it. And I could tell through this whole speech that I'm giving, I'm in front of the class and I'm looking out of the corner of my eye at her face is just getting redder. Like, she's getting angrier and angrier and angrier. But she can't say shit. It's a class project. And I was making, I wrote I everything I made sense. And I remember after class, she was like, I liked your speech. I didn't like the content. And I was like,
right. And why do you, so you think that because it's interesting. I actually was thinking this.
I think that she had a problem because I think she had a problem because I was saying something that went against what she thought, but I was saying it in a way that she couldn't argue with.
Like she could have, but she didn't know how to, if that makes sense.
Well, I think it's like I was reading the other day that like the American Civil Liberties Union, which has always been like I studied political science and like I took all these like pre-law classes and I fucking loved the idea that especially if you're a comedian that you can say whatever you want, and that's kind of the basis of like of this country, you know, I mean, like, and like we're a terrible country in so many ways, but that's like one of the things I like the most is that you can say anything and that's legally allowed. It doesn't mean people can't protest. It doesn't mean that people have to like you.
Yeah.
Also, but now that the American Civil Liberties Union, a lot of the lawyers who work there are challenging, like they don't want the American Civil Liberties Union to defend free speech cases that they think are bullshit. So they don't want to defend Nazis, right? No. And I get that. Who wants to defend Nazis? But that's the fucking job. And I'm a fucking Jew. You know, I mean, it's just like job.
Because that's the job. Yeah. I've always said it like, look, if you're racist, fucking say that shit. I don't want to find out when I'm hanging off a fucking cliff and I need help up. Like, I don't want to be hanging there. Pull me up and you be like, look, Nate, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. I don't know if that's the wrong time to find out, fam. Just say that shit. Like I never get, like I have a joke that my homie Zane has told me I'm not allowed to tell on certain rehab shows because it's like, dude, you can't just come on, bro.
Zane's great, by the way. Shout out to Zane. Shout out to Zane. He was at the Fringe. Yeah, he talked me through some shit at the Fringe as well.
Oh, so dude,
he's a rock, you know.
Zane was dad to everybody at Fringe. Like he talked me through it. Jay Light cried while getting a foot massage. Zane helped him with brain wreck with just emotions. Like it was. So bad.
What's the gist of the joke?
Oh, the basic joke is that I don't get mad if somebody is screaming nigger at me, like with the hard ER. It doesn't bother me because that's just a person mad and they're trying to, like, there's no threat with it. You know what I mean? Like it's just, there's no threat. They're gonna, you're a nigger.
Wow.
What? Like what next? What do you want to do now? Like, what do you want to do? Yeah. Like don't get me wrong. You know, 100 years ago, it'd have been like, you know, you're a nigger, let's kill that nigga. And then it would have been real. But like today, like, what are you going to do? There's more, if you called me that, like if a white person called me that in public, there'd be more white people trying to kick his ass for making them look bad at the cookout. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be like, don't invite me. They got ribs, dog, and you just gonna say that shit, man? Like, why are you doing that? Like fucking it up for all of us. So I'm not afraid of that. What I'm scared of is a dude, like what scares me is a dude who says that with a smile, like with no anger, like just wakes up in the morning and sees you across the street. Morning, nigger. That's terrifying. Yeah. Absolutely fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? Like, but like people who just get mad and say that shit, I'm like, nah, I've never wanted their life. Like maybe if you weren't also wearing shorts, I would take you seriously, but it's never the case. It's never the case. It's never a dude working on like this algorithmic math problem and be like, by the way, niggers. You know what I mean? No, it's never. It's always in between trying to start your lawnmower, bro. Like, I'm not going to take your word for it. Like, I don't care what you think.
I don't know what your experience is on TikTok, but like, I put up the only videos that I've had or whatever clips that have done really well are ones where I've said I'm Jewish. And I'm like, wow, I think a lot of people might have a problem with Jews. I can't tell. I don't know if there's any precedent for this, if it's ever happened before. But with some of these people, I mean, they just say the most horrendous things. And it's hard. Like, do you get any kind of like hate shit on your TikTok?
Hell yeah. There's videos that I'll put. Nothing.
What do you do with it? You just leave it.
Yeah. Why would I respond? Like, here's the thing.
But you don't delete it? You don't.
No, I let it sit. Why would I delete it? It's not doing anything to me. Like a person who's saying something online is doing it because they need the reaction. If you really didn't like something, you just wouldn't say shit. But they need the reaction. It's like, you know, it's like Billy who breaks a vase because even negative attention is attention. So that's what it is. So they just want me to react. So if I react, then I'm giving them what they want, even if I react like you're a piece of shit. They just wanted the reaction because they're looking at it like, oh, he responded to me. That means I made
I invoked emotion in another person. I exist. It's not about me.
Yeah.
So why would I give them that when I get nothing out? I get nothing out of the response. Like I'm not going to give you something out of the fucking response.
But not even like delete and block or whatever. Yeah. Like, because sometimes I'm just like,
I've never blocked anybody.
Really? Oh my God.
I've had people give me death threats. Still haven't blocked.
Wow. Okay. But that's and what you just don't take it seriously. You just kind of roll your eyes about it.
Well, most of the time it's like I am always willing to talk something out to somebody, but I do not feel like I owe anybody an explanation or clarification. If I say something and you take it the wrong way, that's on you. If you want to come to me and ask me, hey, what did you mean by this? What did you do? And I might explain it, but if you come and try and demand a respect, you go fuck yourself. I don't give a fuck. I am perfectly fine with you not liking me.
I feel like I could have used that for a few very big situations in my life that have happened recently.
Me too.
Yeah, but it's like because I'm sitting there and I'm like, and even at the time those situations were happening, like some people said that to me, but it was like, I don't know what it was in me. I don't know if it was fear of feeling like I need to be heard or like I'm valid or you know what I mean? Like you don't get to just hurt me or be mean to me or whatever. But so how did you get to the point where you're like, because I know you're like it's not personal, it's them.
Yeah.
Right. But
first, two things. Number one, you can't take it personal even when it is. I've had bookers tell me that they don't book gimmicks. That was personal.
Wow.
Gimmicks?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
wow.
But I've had people call like the amount like the shit people say. I've had people come up to me and tell me that I look like mini-me. Like these are strangers, people that that are afraid to touch me. I've had people like scream because I got too close to them. I've had people like just walk up and be like, "Oh my God, you're ugly," like terrible shit. But here's the thing: none of it like it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. I've never had like somebody come up or say to me, "Hey man, you're fucking ugly as shit," and then one of my best friends be like, "You know what? You are. I'm out." Like you know what I mean? Like it doesn't actually do anything. Yeah. There's no consequence for you thinking that I'm, you know what I mean? Like that I'm undesirable to you. I'm still going to skeet on your forehead. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not going to change what I'm going to do at all. And it also is like most of the people who say things don't know me. Mm-hmm. So so when they say, I've had people try and make albino jokes all the time. You can go look at my timeline. It's on every single timeline. But the thing about it is that my jokes are better. Like I'm not right. You don't even have. I'm more disappointed in the fact that you didn't even think about your joke than the fact that you were trying to insult me. Like at least, like I just try. Yeah, dude. Like Jamar once called me Thurgood Marshmallow. Hilarious. You know what I mean? Like I laughed for hours on that. I remember I was taking a picture of Afion and Jamar one time, and I was fumbling with the phone because I'm blind as shit. And Afion was like, "Man, hurry up, Squintin' Tarantino." I still to this day laugh about that shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, because I think at heart, like because in watching your stuff, like you are like a comedian. You like the laugh. You know what I mean? You're not sitting here policing people what they say as long as it's like funny. But just I don't know, like. There was something I was thinking about what you said just about with all of that. Like, I guess, I remember what it is. Cause it's like, you do put out stuff that, feels personal, right? Like, I feel like I do too, right? Like everything I do is basically me based. And I think from what I've seen about you, it's the same thing. It's things.
A lot of it is.
Yeah. A lot of it is. I mean, I saw this thing that you did that was very funny. And, you were talking about, and I don't want to like misquote it, but it was like, transsexual porn, like about like if it was cool for you as a straight guy to go off to it, right? Because with
transsexual, transgender,
it's
in my video, I think I called them hemashiras.
Oh god!
But he was like, he's like, there's double the titties,
Yeah, it's like it's just more tits.
Yeah, and then he was he was like, let me just do it and I'll let you know. And then like the video cuts away and then he's like breathing really heavy. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's like you're making this commentary about like, you know, I don't know. I think how straight men can be like, you know, when in reality they could like very much like something that they think that like, you know, they're against or whatever. But the point is like not everybody would necessarily make a joke and put that on the internet to their millions of followers.
Well, I think part of that is that I'm very rarely trying to make a point. I'm always trying to be funny. And there's been videos that like I made a video about masks that I was trying to make a joke that if all the smart people, like I was trying to make this joke, I was like, I'm getting my vaccine because all the smart people are getting theirs. So even like all the scientists, all the people that I like, all my celebrities that I like are getting theirs. And I want to feel closer to them. So even if there is some shit in it, then at least I was one of the people that died with the smart people. I don't want to be, you know what I mean? I don't want to be one of the Keiths and Kevins left behind. And everybody on the comment section was just talking about like, oh yeah, I got my vaccine. Stupid people won't get them. Or people, oh, you're a sheep. Nobody was laughing at the joke. And that's what I was pissed about. I was like, I was not trying to make a point. I don't give a fuck what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't give a damn. I was so mad. I called Jamar and I was like, man, you motherfuckers ain't laughing at my joke, man. Everybody trying to think I was making a point. I was so mad at that shit. I don't give a fuck about a point. Who the hell am I? Why would you listen to me on anything? I'm oftentimes not wearing pants. You know?
Well, the other day I put something on TikTok where I said, I'm 37 and I'm really horny because my body is like, make a baby. And I'm like, no, I have dreams. And to me, the joke, I think, obviously, is that if you have kids, they fucking eat your dreams. So many people were like, if you're 37 and you haven't achieved your dreams, you're not working very hard. And then people got into discussions in my comment section about how I'd wasted my life and I should have done things like travel. And I was like, yeah, totally. But I was like, I've lived in 5 countries. Like, it's just, I mean, I didn't chime in, but I'm like, these people are so dumb, you know, like, I mean, not all people, like, but some of the people in the comment section, you're like, why do I don't know. It's kind of like, why bother reading them? I say to myself, and then I scroll through at 2 a.m. Yeah.
Why would I interact with somebody in a different city, in a different state that's known me for a minute? Like, why would I comment on that?
Doesn't know you. I mean, I guess that's the thing, you know, like what I would say is like, because it does seem personal, but like as I see, like, I don't know, like you're connected to it in a healthy way, because I think I would have to not read them because I would probably, because, you know, here's what I've been doing. I don't use TikTok. Like, obviously, you know, after our conversation earlier, like I like see the options and I'm afraid, like, you know, like, too many. But like I started going on Eve's and like commenting at all the trolls, right? Because that was sort of fun for me. And that's harkening back to the internet I grew up on. You know what I mean? It's like anonymously being mean, you know? So I was like, oh, well, I'll be mean to the people being mean to my friend, you know? Like,
and then I'd wake up and there'd be like 30 notifications and they'd all be Catherine commenting. And then I would see, and I would like, I didn't even necessarily see the horrible comment, but then I see the horrible comment with Catherine's response. And I was like, I feel bad. Like, even though my friends like try to help out, I'm like, oh, now I feel like, you know, this like lame person, and my friend's like, don't be mean to my friend or I'll kick your ass, you know.
But I did say to her, oh, sorry, you go.
No, that's happened actually too. Like when I'm in my lives, people have tried to, like people, like there's been people who have just nigger, like just typed that in or like, or stuff like that. But my fans at first, they would be like, fuck you, get out of here. No, there'll be all that. But like my followers now are so dope. They have kind of taken on some of my characteristics, whether good or bad, but they're just like, bro, he's legally blind. He can't even see you being racist right now.
That's so good.
Like
that's so good.
Like people that like, there'll just be a whole bunch of rows of people with eye roll emojis. Like they're like, oh, yeah, dude, he doesn't care. You're not hurting his feelings. Like, and then they'll just leave. they'll just fucking
so
like they'll just leave.
And they're like, well, I'm going to some other black person who cares and can see the comments.
Yeah. I'll find someone who can see to be racist too.
Yeah, it's always like I said, man. It's all about it's always about like it's surprising when you take somebody's emotion, like somebody's like, man, fuck your mom. Your mom's a bitch, and I'll be like, sure, okay.
So they
don't know what to do with that.
Yeah,
like, they don't know what to do with that. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Actually, is just like it's like catching the fucking punch and just being like, you know what I mean, like with your hand, being like, okay,
Power Ranger. Like,
yeah, it's all about. It's all right. Yes,
all right.
It's all about. It's all. It is all
like
about the balance. No, I anytime fighting is yes, absolutely. I was about to go.
Yeah, we're on the same level. Fuck you, Catherine. Yeah. We're friends. I mean, Nathan and I we connect on the TikTok stuff. You know, you wouldn't get this. This is
and the fighting. Stuff. I like that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I like people. I think that's part of it. I like people, and I'm fascinated with people that are fascinated with like the thing that they love. Like when they find, I love people talking about something that they actually love to do, and I think that a lot of people just are. I'm a critical thinker. I'm a very balanced person. I don't ever want to be too far to one side because then you can't see the other side. And so I'm always like, man, you know what I mean? Like Chappelle was talking about it in his Mark Twain speech. He was like, man, I can sit next to somebody who's racist. It's not, you know what I mean? Like I can sit next to somebody who hates babies. We can have a conversation. I don't have to agree with that person, but I want to know why. And I'm always about like, if I can find the reason why somebody's doing and track it back and then meet at that intersection where we diverge, then there's a better likelihood of us like being able to like fix the issue than if I'm just yelling at it, because people think they're right. If I don't care.
Yeah.
If somebody's stabbing somebody to death in the moment, they think they're right. They think they are correct. They think they're justified. So if you just start saying you're wrong, why would the fuck would they believe you? And I've always tried to do that, but it's fucking hard because sometimes you just want to be like, hey, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I do. I say it all the time.
I still do. I still do that. Yeah. I still have my boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. Were you going to ask a question before, Catherine?
Well, yeah. There's just as you're saying these things, you know, there's a few things that it makes me think of. I mean, one, it makes me think of my mom's, one of her best friends that since high school, you know, my mom is very liberal, and mind you, she's also like 77. So like, so you know what I mean? She's like, Joe Biden is my celebrity crush, you know, and like,
what?
No,
I didn't realize that.
You know, but it's like, you do no wrong.
Liberal.
He's not Trump, liberal whatever, right? Yeah. But then like her best friend from high school, what Trump support, I mean, they are Republican, and they agreed at a point. They were like, look, we want to be friends. We're just not going to talk about this stuff. And like, that's not what you were just saying. You were saying like a nice thing about maybe meeting in the middle, but like, you know, at a certain point, maybe when you're old, you're just not going to, but it's like, it's sort of a shame if you think sometimes everybody's so closed off to the other perspectives, like how many people you miss out on possibly learning something different from.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And how there's like all this finger wagging, but you're just kind of like, I don't know. You're kind of hurting yourself. Like if you have that viewpoint of like, I won't even acknowledge it, you know? And
it's surprising as you know, because our job is to travel. So I've been to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. And so
racist. No.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. I don't like cold and I don't like Hawaiians. No, I'm but I think what it is that I think people have this idea that just like everybody, like if you walking down the street and you walk past 1,000 people, if you walk past one chick who's hysterically crying, that's what you'll remember. Not the thousands of people who weren't crying. You'll go home and you'll be like, yo, this chick was crying today, man. She was crying so hard. You didn't notice the other thousands of people that were passing you that weren't crying, that you didn't even notice. You noticed the one that was eliciting an emotion. So I think that people focus in on that emotion too much. They look like they see an Instagram or TikTok post, and they're like, and somebody's in it and saying, you know what? Maybe fuck the blacks. And then there's like 150,000 likes on that post. And I'm like, dude, it's 320 million people in this country. You know what I mean? Like if
you focus on the extreme.
You're focusing on the extreme. Like, dude, like I look at it like this country, we shouldn't work. 92% of the people in Japan are Japanese. 50% of the people in America are just white. We call them white because they're so mixed up. German, Australian, Irish, Catholic. We're fucked up. All of the of course we're gonna have fucking problems. We are so astronomically different, but somehow we most of the time make it work, because as a 42-year-old person, I can tell you firsthand, shit's definitely gotten better. It's just easier now to make the narrative seem like it hasn't.
Yeah, and it's so easy to forget that. I mean, I remember just what you're saying. When I was living in I lived in Korea for like most of my 20s, and I remember there was like a big headline. Korea's got like 50 million people, probably more. And there was like a headline that said like, and it was like a huge like alert, and the country was like shocked and not sure what to do, because 1% of the population, 500,000 people, was now non-Korean. And that included me. So like 1% of they were like, what are we going to do? We're only 99% Korean. And it's funny because, like we don't think over here about like, oh my God, they're so racist. I don't know. I'm not going to say individually, but as a country, Korea is a racist country, particularly for anyone who's black like that. It's like pretty hard. Although I knew other people, I knew people who were black who lived there who had a great time, but it's racist. But it's just like, well, we just go, oh, well, that's Korea. They're just used to it being Korean. But then you look at the US and like you said, I mean, it's crazy. I thought about this while I was traveling. I was like, this whole idea of like multiculturalism is like the only way to live. I'm like, it's a great thing, but it's like a lie naturally. It's like the idea that like a multicultural society is the normal society is a new idea. And the fact that it's difficult is fine, because it's
it's perfectly fine. Like throughout history, all the multicultural societies were very, very successful.
Right. Because you have different ideas.
Yeah, exactly. You like if you said I could pick 100 people and I could pick the smartest people, but then another guy said, and he can pick 100 people of the smartest people, but they all have to be white. I'm gonna find smarter people just because I have a big. Right. I'm going from a bigger pool.
Cast a wider net. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, let's catch all the fish, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and I think
not even smarter. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, everything. And I think that I think that happens. It starts with sex. It all starts with sex. And somebody sees
get your tits out, ladies.
Ladies, fellas, get naked. Everybody get naked. Because the multicultural stuff, when we start seeing each other naked, and we'll be like, you ain't never had none of that right there. You know what I mean? Like, when we go do it, I'm telling you, that's what happens.
It's true.
That's what it is.
Fucking in the streets, know. Just,
Did I have that he's also smart? I didn't know I did not know you were this smart, or at least even introspect. You know what I mean? Like, because we've had, politically, just whatever you call it.
That's the thing. I'm not political. I talk to myself a lot. I just be thinking shit. Like, I don't know if any of this is right. I just say it.
But I think it's because you were talking a lot about people you surround yourself with, and like, we've been kind of like, as we're picking people to be on the podcast, for the most part, everyone who has said yes has kind of had, I don't want to say the same attitude because everybody's different, but sort of this attitude that you have. And I feel like it's that type of,
I thought you were going to shit on our other guests. I was like, they can hear that. Yeah. Okay.
No. I mean, in that way, like, there's an openness, there's a willingness to explore ideas. People have boundaries, understand, like positivity. Do you know what I mean? Like we seem to be gravitating toward people living like that. Like,
but I think that's because you guys are comics. You have to do that as a comic. Our job is crazy to go talk to a bunch of people who don't know us, but who also don't know each other. And we have to make them all agree on one thing.
Yeah.
Like that's right. If you're not open-minded, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like if you like, here's how much people don't want to agree. If you went up and you just said, I got great tits, you would still divide the crowd. You know what I mean? Like that's
hey, like 50-50.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm blind, so I can't see right now. But
right, you're like, I can feel though. I can feel your
In a game of truth or dare, that actually worked once.
It all comes back to sex. It all comes back.
It all comes back to booty.
Right. But yeah, I agree. I think that if you get a comic, I mean, it's really hard. I think it's very hard to be a super left new comic. You know, like the comics now, like, I think it's hard to be like, this is a micro. I think it's hard to know the word microaggression and like use it in your conversation and be funny. I just find that I'm like, that's going to be a challenge for you, because that means that the people you're talking to need to see the world exactly like you in order for you to meet. And it's possible. And maybe that person's fucking gifted, but I just think you're not going to be funny, but maybe,
I personally think that, like, if I can go up, and I'm not political at all. I don't even vote for president. I vote for like some laws or some shit. Might vote for like a senator or something, but I'm not voting for president. That's the best y'all can do, for real. Both of you motherfuckers, that's the best you can fucking do. One looks like he's wearing a diaper and one looks like he's dead. This is the best y'all can do.
I really thought you were going to be like, one looks like he's wearing a diaper and one looks like a diaper. That's
I mean, like that too. And I'll keep going back. I could say that about every single president. I've never felt like either side brought us the best. That's the best. No, you ain't brought us the fuck. I'm like, dude, football's got 32 teams. We got 2 political parties. Fuck out of here. Anyway, but I'm just like, man, it's really not that serious, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just laugh. Like, let's just be funny. Remember when movies were just fun? I think, like, one of my favorite shows is Martin, the show Martin, and the one.
Yeah, you go.
Was that the reason I love the show? Martin.
Yeah.
Lines, baby. You know what I mean? I love that show because it was a show that had black people in it, but it wasn't a show about black people. You know what I'm saying? And now every single thing seems to be fucking showing this goddamn message. And it's like I just want to see some shit where black people are just being people. Why do they always got to be black people? And I know that, and I know why they're doing it. And I think it's great that people are getting more work and shit like that. But just like, dude, just show me some Italians just being people. Yeah. Just show me some white dudes being white, like just being people. Like, show me some rednecks just being rednecks, dog. Like just like why do you have to prove that these rednecks aren't racist? Just have them being fucking people, dog. Like just do it.
And that's what people said they loved Schitt's Creek. Not that there's like any black. There's I think one black person in the show, but people liked it because they were just characters. They were gay, but they didn't have to be like fighting to be gay. They just were like gay.
The message isn't heavy-handed. If you it's like
exactly.
I mean, that's like why I'm so attracted to, I don't know if you watched it, but the Larry Sanders Show is because...
Larry Sanders Show. Oh, fuck yeah. Larry Sanders.
I mean, it's basically, I think it's like the Wire of comedy. It's my favorite TV show. And whenever anybody...
Sorry, I want to put that on a fucking tote bag and sell it for this podcast.
Please do. Oh
phenomenal, by the way.
But it's because...
The Wire of comedy. Yeah.
But it said so much about not just the entertainment industry, but people, their egos, their flaws, what it causes them to do, how it causes them to be, and it found the funny in it. It did it in a funny way
way.
And you learned so much.
My mom called me a couple months ago, and we were talking, and I've talked to her since then. I'm just saying we had this conversation.
I was there. I was like,
So she called me and she was like, I feel like I've made mistakes and I'm old. And she's like 69. She's like, she's 68. She's like, I feel like I've made these mistakes and it sucks. I made these mistakes when I was 30 and I didn't realize them until now. And I'm like, now I wasn't always like this, but now I'm like, I don't have a problem seeing my mistakes because if I can see them, that means I'm not the person that made them anymore. Not saying that I can't be that person again, but if you recognize it as a mistake, you can't be the person who made it.
Right.
So I just
you've evolved.
Exactly. Yeah. You can always slip back, and I do, but I'm like, so I don't mind seeing my mistakes. If I stop being able to see my mistakes, that means I'm lying to myself because I'm still making.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people.
I'm lucky that I never make any mistakes. It's like such a blessing.
Some people are perfect. Some people are just perfect like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's just, what can I say?
I have a good friend that's absolutely perfect. His name was Jesus. I don't know if you've known him. Also albino. Just to
also, I was gonna say, yeah. Also albino.
I heard that. I think I read that on.
I saw that on like a conspiracy theory show.
That's what it is.
They were like, yeah.
I think I saw it on CNN. But same thing, right?
CNN.
And I think that it would help. And if Jesus was albino, would just come out as being albino, I think it would help me out a lot more because people regularly believe in him more than me. Like if nobody has to be convinced of Jesus, but how many times I have to convince people I'm fucking real? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I'm a black albino.
You're not like a hologram?
Yeah, I'm a black albino. They're like, that's not a thing. Motherfucker, I'm standing in front of you. You know what I mean? Like,
what? People tell you that it's not. It's amazing what people they'll just say like, I don't know anything about it. I just know the answer. And you're like,
what they know
maybe
for sure.
You don't.
You know, for some reason, a lot about this conversation that we've had today is lending itself to like, my husband listens to this man when he goes to sleep, lectures, because he likes the sound of his voice. His name is Robert Anton Wilson, and he was born in Brooklyn, lived in Cork, was apparently this professor in Ireland, but nobody knows who he is. And I started trying to get my sleep schedule back in order. So I actually go to bed with him now, or at least I try to. And I listen to these lectures. And then I was like, wait a minute, this man's saying all this stuff that's really cool. And then it turns out he's like a direct inspiration of something that I'm really into called the Church of the Subgenius, whatever. But long story long, but long story, I know it's like, but he basically said, he's like, I don't believe in anything, but I'm suspicious of everything. Or he's like he's willing to look at everything. And he's like, the idea to believe in just one thing means you have stopped using your mind and thinking critically, looking at things. So he's like willing to look at it all. And you hear kind of the peace in his voice, which I think is why Mark can sleep to it, because he's always just sort of like, yeah, okay, I'll hear that out. You know what I mean? And the openness and the willing to learn. And I think like a lot of what we discussed today is kind of like, it seems like you have that too.
I think that a lot of people are trying to find a blueprint, and it just is not one. It's not there. You just got to keep trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
And once you get comfortable with that, man, and please believe it took me 35 years to get there, and I'm still like working on it today. But like, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
To just like I have two friends that stopped being KKK members because of me.
Wow.
What?
And
how long have you been recording before you threw that out there? Okay.
I could tell if I remember one time I was at Hollywood. I was working at a Hollywood video. I could tell you how fucking old I am, but I was working at a Hollywood video, and this director, I didn't know he was a director, but he came in and he was talking. He was like, "You're a fucking black albino," and I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "That's interesting." And then this is all I said. I was like, "Oh yeah." I mean, it gets way crazier than that. He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I was actually adopted at birth by a white family, raised in the South in the ghetto. My dad committed suicide when I was 6 because of heroin and cocaine. My mom's gay. And he was like,
whoa,
wait, what? He was like, yeah. He was like, is there more? And I was like, oh yeah, so much more. That's just the first little part. And he was like, what the fuck? He was like, and I was like, yeah, if you grow up with that level of fucking confusion,
you
better have an open mind.
Yeah.
Well, or life will eat you. I mean, you'll just
or you just become hateful, or you.
I did.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I did all of those things. I became hateful. Life tried to eat me, but at a certain point, I think that you just either like yourself or kill yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a tote bag.
well, and that could mean like that should be a tote bag actually. Like yourself or kill yourself. Either way. Either
Catherine's gonna take. Yeah. Catherine's gonna take credit though. It's gonna be like everyone's doing better than me on one side, and then it will say either like yourself or kill yourself, Catherine Henson. And I'm gonna be like, oh my god, you stole that from our guest, but I'll also split the money with you. And
I'll let you have that. That's fine. I think it's real. Like you get to a point where you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna like who I am, and I can also like who I am and not like how I look. I can do those simultaneously. I don't think most people can.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever get to a point where you can like how you look?
Yeah.
I mean, that. Okay.
Oh no, absolutely. I just got to stop eating the fucking cupcakes. No, I'm trying. I'm trying to get there now. It's just that I used to. I think like a lot of people, I used to be like, if I don't like how I look, then the rest of me must also be a piece of shit.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, and so once I was able to separate those two things, it made exercising and dieting, all that good shit, easier to do because I wasn't putting so much stress on myself. Like if I didn't do it, it didn't mean I was a piece of shit.
Right. Okay. So it's like, it's not like either I do this or I like who I am is wrong. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Who I am is okay. And
Yeah. Who you are is okay, but you a piece of ass for eating that goddamn cupcake at 3 in the goddamn morning. You lazy motherfucker. You ain't even need that. You were just high. You know what I mean? Like, you ate a whole goddamn box of cereal with no milk. You disgusting piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, to be able to say that to yourself at the same time, be like, it's all good. I'm gonna be better tomorrow. That took a long time.
Yeah. Wow. I'm sure. But before Catherine asks you, I think Catherine's going to ask you the final question here in a second. But I just wanted to ask you something else. But what do you do on your TikTok lives? Do you just hang out? Do you do stuff? Like, what do you do?
Nothing. I just talk.
Yeah. And people ask you questions?
I mean, sometimes but I have to, I got to use my magnifying glass to read the questions and shit. So sometimes they'll just say something and then I'll just start talking about something. Like sometimes I'll let them pick. They'll be like, hey, what you want me to talk about? And they'll be like, I don't know, fast food restaurants. And I'll be like, all right. And I'll just start riffing on fast food restaurants.
I mean, and I just want to say like it, and it's very funny to see you this close to your phone. And I can imagine on those TikTok lives, like you getting that close with that magnifying glass. Like, I just, nobody's got that look. That's it. Like that is you. And it's so funny, but it's coming from this place of like, you have something that you have to deal with. That's like probably not easy to deal with all the time.
Because I used to fucking always try and like stop it, but then I was like, like I said, it was just this was too stressful to try and not appear like I was fucking I am fucking legally blind, and it's too goddamn. Like I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna not look at this mess. Like I used to do things where like I would try and like I didn't have my magnifying glass, so I'd be trying to look at something like over here so people didn't see that I really needed to be up in here, but that motherfucker and shit like that. But then I was like, you know what? I'll just be up in here with it. I'm gonna just read it. It says, and that motherfucker. You know what? If I'd have read it out here, I would have got on the wrong bus. You know what I mean? Like this is saving my life out here in these streets. And it was somebody. What'll happen is somebody be like, oh. Man, you looking at that close? Are you trying to smell it? And I'll just be like, no, I'm legally blind. And then they always be like, oh, motherfucker, I'm a piece of shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, so it honestly, and I'm petty. So I'll just be like, no, you're good, bro. It's okay. It's just my disability. You know what I mean? Like just make him feel like ass. So yeah, man.
That's
like,
so good.
What the fuck are we gonna do? Like, honestly.
I love that. No, but the question, I mean, like to me, it's like, okay, you're legally blind, but can you see this whole time, like how good my hair looks today? I mean, I don't know if you can see it. You can't really see it, can you?
He's gonna move the phone so we can see it.
Yeah, I can.
He's lying to you. It's great though. He knows how to.
Wait a minute. I don't know. Oh no! Wait, never mind. I was looking at the wrong person on the screen. Oh, now there you go. Now I'm seeing you.
See, there it is.
Your hair looks good.
Your hair looks good.
Oh, stop it! You don't have to say that.
Let me finish. I think hers looks better. But here's why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This has to do with the haircut that you have is the haircut of the first person who kicked me in the dick.
Ruh-roh. Okay.
I mean, almost exactly. Like,
if we're being honest here, it was me. I just figured you wouldn't recognize me.
You wouldn't be able to see her.
I knew it. No, I remember seeing. If you would have changed your eye color or that, I wouldn't have seen that. But you changed. You didn't change the hair.
It is a very distinctive haircut. People have been roasting me about it on TikTok recently, telling me I look like a child, and I'm like,
other than that, your hair looks great, but it brings up bad memories for me. Can't do it.
All right. Well, I won't tell you about that time I was raped by an albino. You know.
Story time.
I wasn't. Sorry.
How did you let him catch you? He can't see you. All you gotta do is zigzag, and he'll eventually just run into a building or something like that.
Shit, if I had known it at the time, you know, it wasn't up on. Yeah.
Well, for the next time. For the next time an albino man tries to rape me. Yeah, then you just know.
Yeah, I'll smash his magnifying glass.
Just smash. Oh, he'll be fucked. Just smash his magnifying glass and run away screaming, "You're fucking it up for the culture." You know what I mean? Like, just do that, and then he'll feel terrible, and he'll apologize because I can hear it. Like, we albinos we all have like a high pitched sound that only other albinos can hear. I don't know if you knew that or nothing. Yeah.
You can hear higher pitched sounds than.
Yeah. See, I just made a sound that only other albinos can hear right now.
Do it again.
He's fucking with you, Eve.
Oh. All right. I'm so tired, you know.
You would be surprised what I've convinced people.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe sometimes if you don't have great vision, your other senses heighten in order to compensate for that.
So he can make a sound at a frequency that only other albinos can hear.
I didn't know because we're on a podcast. So I was like, well, obviously his microphone can't pick it up. But I thought it was like a very high.
She and I just switched places for the first time ever. I'm like, oh, is that me over there? Okay.
I want you to know I'm still the smart one. The smart one.
Not today. Okay, I do want to ask you before we go. I have one question for you, and then I think Eve has another. Is there anything or anyone, no matter how big or small or petty or not, that you do feel jealous of when you think of it or see it?
Yes. Well, aside from people with 20/20 vision,
right?
But honestly, it's the whole reason that I wanted to become an actor. Was because there was just so many things that I was never going to be able to do in life. Like I'm not going to be able to fly a fighter jet, even though I have flown a plane. I'm never going to be able to be like a surgeon. I just don't have the vision for it. I can't read great, and I wanted to be a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of things. I have sickle cell trait, which means that it would be dangerous for me to like climb Mount Everest. I'm stupid as shit. Can't go to space. You know what I mean? Like, so there was a bunch of things. Like, I always wanted to know how to do linear algebra, but I can't even do pre-algebra. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there was a bunch of shit that I wanted to be able to do, but couldn't. But in acting, I can literally do whatever the fuck I want. Like anything. I can play a balloon. That's awesome.
You listed awesome. All these things, and then you're like, but as an actor, I get to play the balloon.
I can play a balloon, and people won't believe it. Hey, did you see that new Nathan Hurd movie where he played a balloon? What? You ain't seen the red balloon. He played the red balloon. You remember that 99 Luft balloons? He played one of them balloons. You ain't see that new Luft balloon movie with Nathan Hurd? Crazy, man. He go crazy in that shit. And so that's who I am jealous of. I'm jealous of people who
like not. I don't know. I'm never jealous in a way of like I wish I could be in like do it and they couldn't kind of thing. I just look at things and I'm like, man, that looks fucking fun. Like that looks like fun, dude. Go into space, like being an astronaut, that shit looks fun. You know what I mean? Like this just looks fun. Well,
yeah. I was gonna say, just get your TikTok up more and more and more. You can go with Leonardo DiCaprio to Mars at some point. Isn't he doing trips to Mars or some shit? Leonardo.
Eventually. Oh, I don't know if anybody wants to be in a fucking tube with me for 8 months. I think that would end badly for them. I sleep fart, so I feel like they would not. They're not gonna want to deal with that heat show. You know what I'm
saying? Heat show. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's like you have enough sight that you can get around and read stuff and whatever. But then like you said, like you're legally blind. So it's like, so there's all these things that you can't do. So so it's like you're kind of there, but you're not there. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really, what I really, like I said, I just really, and I'm not even saying that that's the reason. I know fucking like I know legally blind albinos who can fucking read fine. I'm just shitty at it. So I'm not jealous of, I'm jealous of experiences. You know what I mean? Like I'm jealous of experiences. I'm not really jealous of people. I might be jealous of a person who gets to do a thing, but I'm not jealous of a person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you want to do the thing too.
Yeah. I want that person to be that person.
Right. Whereas I just want everyone to have nothing so that I feel.
And I just want my cake and to eat it too. And then I want your cake as well. I want cake. Cake is mine.
Love cake.
No. Yeah. You're like, oh, did someone say cake?
I do love cake.
All right. Well, now here's my question. That Catherine acts like she doesn't like this part, but she fucking does. I know she does. So now that we've said all these nice things about you, you have to come up with compliments for us separately. So things that maybe you're jealous of or that you like about us or whatever. Go.
Well, I don't. I'm sorry. What was your name again? I'll probably forget it. I'm terrible. I'm terrible with them. I forgot.
Her name's
Eve.
Okay. Yeah. See, here's the thing. One of the problems that I have is that like I'm usually people's first albino. So they remember me
second
off
or
bat.
third, I think. Just FYI.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You knew Victor before me, didn't you?
I did know Victor. I did know Victor. Yeah.
You knew Victor before me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
I think you're my first. Yeah.
I'm your first albino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so people remember me off bat. Like I've had people that would be like, I went to high school with you. I'm like, we didn't go to the same. Where did you go to high school? Oh, across town. I just remember I saw you on a bus once. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because they remember the first time you saw an albino, but I just met some dude named Keith. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't fucking. And it was dark, and I got bad vision, bro, and I got ADHD, and I'm stupid and wasn't paying attention. There was a lot of things that were not going in my favor. So
and your name's Keith.
And your name's Keith. Oh, come on, dude. Come on, don't be named. At least Brandon, but not Keith. You know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
So Eve, I the fact that y'all let me on y'all podcast was dope. I like that. I think that was really cool of you to let me on. The fact that you can, I like the fact that you seem like you can, not just take a joke, but recognize that it is one. You know what I mean? Like you definitely seem like a person who could punch back, but if they got punched the hardest, would just be like, all right, I'm gonna take that L, but I'll be back tomorrow. I fuck with that. I like that.
Totally. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna put that in my journal, and you'll be hearing back from me.
Yeah, I like that mentality. The fact that within 5 minutes of us talking, you were already talking about titties. I think that's dope. That's amazing.
I love how it's so easy to win a guy over. They're like, yeah, you're this, you're that. And you talked about your tits. Like,
it's so easy. It's so easy. It is so easy. People like, I just found out this year that the biggest miscommunication between one of the biggest miscommunications between men and women is when women can't think about nothing.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
Like, you mean stare off into space? You mean, like kind of just
like
can. But we just have the weight of society on our shoulders.
Yeah, see, that's like I didn't know. I was talking to my homegirl, and she was like, "When you're thinking about nothing, what are you thinking about?" I was like, "Nothing," and she was like, "Well, no, but like, what are you?" I was like, "No, there's nothing." She was like, "No, I know you're not thinking about anything specific, but what are you thinking?" I was like, what if a tomato had ears? Like, that's what I'm fucking thinking about. It doesn't mean anything.
You're like offline. You're not like thinking about like nothing. You're not thinking about random shit. You're just like,
and she was like, she was like, how long can you do that for? I was like, I don't know, forever. Like, I don't, if unbothered, forever. Like, I could do that for.
I think men are in the habit of that because you guys have had to like, repress all your feelings forever. So it's like, just think about nothing. And then now you're just default like,
actually,
whereas for us, we're like, what did that mean? Oh my God, am I in danger? Why? Yeah. What?
Actually, I'm not going to lie. If I am jealous of one thing, it is the fact that while like we can compliment, men are good at complimenting each other, I think. More so like on accomplishments, more so than women. Okay. But women can compliment each other in a way that men can't.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like y'all can do, like, you could say, "Hey Becky, I really love your tits." Like, you can say in an unironic way. I can't compliment the homie's calves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that. Y'all can just walk down the street holding hands with your best friend. Dudes we can't do that.
It's true. You know what I do with my best friends? I just finger them all the time, like out in public.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? It's like, we're girls. Awesome. Who cares? Babe, awesome. Does that feel good? You look so tense.
I love the fact that y'all, like, have you ever seen the movie Sin City?
Yeah.
There's a part in there where they had just cut off that chick's hands. And she's like, he made me watch. And then she screams and then has a cigarette. And then she's cool. That, to me, like, the fact that y'all can just like scream it away.
That was a movie.
Yeah, but the fact that y'all can just, but here's the thing. I've seen y'all do that. I've seen you guys have a breakdown and then just like continue on with the day. If I have a breakdown, fuck the rest of the month. Like,
I appreciate what he's saying. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Some people see that as a sign of weakness, but it's not.
No, dude. Yeah. We let everything pent up for years and years and then blow up, and then we just stuff arms into a mailbox. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm absolutely jealous that like women don't shoot up workplaces.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you should put limits on us like that.
No. I think that y'all should. I think that y'all definitely should.
I just don't. Oh, look at this guy coming on our podcast telling us what we can and can't do, Catherine. You guys, you don't even shoot up. I can fucking shoot up a workplace,
You fucking need to. You need to do it, man. It's cathartic. I feel like it would be very cathartic. But y'all.
So what are you jealous of in Catherine?
In Catherine, I'm jealous of the fact that even when she doesn't seem to like herself, she's still herself. She can't get away from it. That's fucking awesome.
Wow, she said it's like the same thing she said about you.
Yeah, but see, no.
You guys are in love. Why don't you just fuck?
That's
how you going? No, I think that it's really dope that because when I remember seeing you in Edinburgh, that's what I was talking about when I saw that show. I remember, like, because as much as y'all might have seen me on stage, I'm petrified before I go up, like absolutely petrified every time. And when I get on stage, there's so many times, like when I was watching you and it started to go bad, I wanted to bail for you, but you, instead of like receding, you were like, "Hey, guess what, guys? Go fuck yourself." I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Catherine, she hates this. I want you to know that she hates when anybody acknowledges that they've ever seen her do a bad gig. She's like, I didn't know it was good.
I'm like, which bad one?
It wasn't the bad. Like, you weren't doing. I don't know if you were doing. It wasn't necessarily that you were doing bad. You were just getting heckled. But it was like by like three dudes. Do you remember that? There were three dudes
that happened a few times.
Oh,
to me. I'm like, I do remember because I don't drink, so I do remember all of them.
Well, I remember the one where I got so uncomfortable that I left. But then I came back, and I remember coming back, and I faked a phone call or something, and I left the room because I was uncomfortable. And then I remember I came back, and you had rearranged, like you were still on stage, and you had reset the room. And I was like, man, fuck you for being able to do that shit, because I would have just been like, all right, y'all, well, I guess I'm gonna just head out. The fact that
she's a tough bitch.
Also, the fact that like how long have you been doing comedy?
I think it's 5 but 6 years with Corona.
Yeah.
But the last year was like gone.
It's kind of
Yeah.
What I appreciate is that I have now been doing comedy for 13 years.
Wow.
And you are far more club successful than I am.
Oh, wow.
And I think it like in your show was better in Edinburgh, and you were all the way far. And I think it's because like I said, that New York hustle is real shit. That ability to say, you know what, I know that I've got fucking I fell down some steps, my ankle's swollen, and I got a black eye, but I'm still out here fucking barking. That's rare. You know what I mean? Like that's a really rare treat. Most people make an excuse or are like, I know you don't always like yourself, but you're not hiding. And that's cool. Like that's what the top level of comedians do. Like that's when those are the people that people seem to like gravitate to when they're like, I can see your flaws and like your successes. That's what they like.
Well, that's what I see in you too, you know?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, and I appreciate it too, man. I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't want to say it again just because, but I mean, it's like, that's why it's so great to see you gaining the success that you are in a medium that I do not understand, and you are legally blind, and you're doing it. And I'm very excited to see what you continue to do, because I think you're not going to need any of these clubs because you're just going to sell out your own shows. You know, that's what I'm actually starting to try to do. Just like, fuck it. Fuck yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Plug your stuff right now to the very small amount of people that we have, you know, but you know, that I think they'll like you too, though. You know?
Look, here's what I'll say. I don't focus anymore. I used to really, but I no longer focus on the numbers. I focus on the thing. Like, how am I having fun doing something? Then I'm gonna keep doing it. The numbers will come or they won't. But if I don't want to focus on the numbers, because then I don't want to keep doing something that I'm not having fun at.
Right.
Because that'll just start to stress me out just for the numbers.
Maybe you should stop making the clips then.
No, I think you should stop.
No. Well,
I fucking knew this bitch was going there. I watched her sly little fucking face, and I was like, here we go. Maybe you should find a way to have. Anyway, no, don't want to derail this. Well, can you tell everybody your TikTok and your Instagram and
whatever you want? You have so many, so whatever you want to plug.
Oh, just follow me on TikTok, Nathan Hurd Comedy, and then on Instagram, HURD,
right?
HURNATHAN HURD, and then comedy, and then it's the same on Instagram. And yeah, man, those are the two. And follow me. Oh, subscribe to my Patreon, so I can pay rent and things like of that nature and stuff. But yeah, man, just those are my things that I'll be on and shit like that. I'll be saying some stuff.
Pay rent, buy cupcakes to eat at 3 a.m.
So good.
Yeah.
So get the Patreon. Get on the Patreon.
It's like a personal cake. It's like a personal cake, man.
I feel like this
nobody asked to share a cupcake. It's like a personal for you cake.
It's true. Some people do, but they're monsters.
They're monsters.
But listen,
monsters.
I'm gonna end this because this is
just plug our
one
stuff
of our
though.
long. Oh my God, I forgot about plug our stuff. You follow the podcast on Instagram at Everyone's Doing Better. Follow me on TikTok at Eve Elbow. Follow me on Instagram at Eve Elbow. Follow Catherine on Instagram at Ew Girl You Nasty. And subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you listen to. If you'd rate it, we'll blow you. I mean, that's a promise.
Maybe you know what I mean. That's Patreon by the time this comes out. Who knows?
Yeah. Mystery. But seriously, if you can do anything, and what's pretty much in writing, if you do anything nice for us, Catherine will blow you. Thank you for. Thank you.
And you know what? I will too. How about that? You'll get an albino. I'll give you a handy. I'm pretty good. I'll give you an albino handy.
He has strong hands.
Yeah.
And Nathan, thank you so much for doing this. This has been great.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate you.
Really loved it.
You're awesome, man.
You guys are fantastic. Thank you, guys.